Should I work towards forgiveness? Myself, 36, and my husband, 38, have been together for over 11 years now. We have 3 kids. Halfway through my last pregnancy, his demeanor completely changed. At the time both of us were working full-time and I was extremely swollen. I work 12 to 14-hour shifts and I'm on my feet for about 80% of that time. He would not touch me. I could not convince him to rub my back or anything. This went on for months. By the time I made it to 36 weeks I had severe blood pressure issues and had to be induced. Since our first child, I have known that he was not a great partner during the birthing process. However, this time was just plain horrible. I was in labor over 36 hours and he wouldn't sit next to me because he said that the chair was uncomfortable. So he decided to just stay over on the couch on the other side of the room. I was in horrible pain most of the time and I couldn't convince him to give me a massage except for one 5-minute foot massage to shut me up, and that took a lot of begging. Eventually I give birth and I'm discharged from the hospital. However, that same day I had to go to the emergency room and be readmitted because my blood pressure was around 200/100ths and I wasn't discharged with blood pressure medication. While I was in the hospital again he continued to be horrible because he had to be home with the kids. On my last day in the hospital, my liver enzymes were elevated and the doctor was planning on doing a scan the next morning to figure out why. My husband accused me of wanting to stay in the hospital and asked if I could just get it done outpatient so that I could come home. When I got home my blood pressure was still out of control. There would be times that it would be extremely high and I would try to just take my medication and lay down, but he would yell at me for not taking the baby. I was advised not to drive, and my blood pressure was still regularly over 170s, but my husband would be angry at me because I didn't feel comfortable driving with my blood pressure so high. When my BP would get really high we would get into arguments because he would refuse to take me to the emergency room. When he went to work I would stay at my cousin's house so they could help with the kids. When he would get off of work he would refuse to come and pick me and the kids up, and when he did I had to beg him to. After about 6 months, I started to improve and I got on a better medication regimen. Then he started acting normal again. I still get flashbacks of the yelling and how cold he was even when I would ask him to just lay next to me. I have explained to him how horrible he was and he has apologized. He explained to me that he was scared and overwhelmed. He said that he wishes that he could take it all back. He refuses to go to counseling. This issue is that I am struggling to forgive him for this behavior. Typically forgiveness comes easily for me, but this I know I will have to actively work at. I know all marriages have their things and unfortunately spouses have the potential to hurt you the most, but I wonder if this is just too much to forgive. I have been feeling so numb towards him since this has happened and I think maybe I can forgive him if I try harder. I just don't know if it is healthy for me knowing that if tragedy strikes he possibly won't be willing to care for me. You know exactly why you haven't forgiven him, because you know if there was a big issue he wouldn't be any support. That's one of the most important parts of partnership. I mean, I'm sure in your vows as in most it says sickness and health. He didn't hold up his end of the bargain because he was too focused on his own issues to be even kind to you, much less supportive in any way. He only stopped once you were healthy enough to take care of things again. Some of his behavior can be chalked up to stress, but what stress? New baby? Couldn't be that because it didn't get better when the baby came. Work issues? Well, that's no excuse to treat your spouse poorly. Money issues? Again, it only stopped when you were able to do things again. It's not like he got some big financial relief immediately after you got your health under control. Stress because you were ill? Well, that would be even worse because he definitely shouldn't be taking that out on some sick and suffering. Don't let him just blanket his behavior by saying it was stress. That's an excuse and you know it. We can't help how we feel, but we can help how we behave. Behavior is a choice and he chose every day to mistreat you. So either he was incredibly selfish and wallowing in his own emotion even though you were going through something potentially life-threatening for both you and the baby, or he's lying about why he behaved that way and stress is his excuse. You might be having trouble forgiving him because you know that he's not truly sorry. He is sorry that you're upset with him. He is just a selfish person. There was no reason he couldn't rub your back when you were pregnant. He refused to go to any effort for you. Selfish, he wouldn't sit with you during labor because it was uncomfortable. Selfish, he was focused on how your illness affected him. Selfish, He was stressed by your illness because it gave him work to do. Selfish, he didn't care how you felt, he only cared how he felt. Selfish, your marriage is basically over because of his cruelty, but he refuses to go to counseling. Selfish, he has shown that he's a good time guy, rather than a in sickness and in health till death do us part kind of guy. You're not struggling to forgive something he did wrong. You've actually realized who he is as a human and a husband, and you don't like it. Edit to add, kids do just fine with divorced parents. They don't do well in a home with a terrible husband being modeled for them. Don't stay just for the kids. Wow, I understand your difficulties in finding a way to forgive him. He was intensely selfish and self-serving. His actions were potentially murderous in regards to his lack of care for you. If you had died, and you could have, his lack of care to your children would have then put them at risk. My advice is to take whatever action you feel is necessary to protect yourself and your children, who deserve more than a fair weather husband. The marriage vows says in sickness and in health. Think about it this way, you could have died just because he was uncomfortable. I get it, he was scared, but weren't you too? Everyone? ? Do you think that's balanced? Any inconveniences that could be dangerous for you but scary for him could happen again any time in the future. You want to be prepared being left all alone for your struggle again? He sounds like a horrible person who only acts normal when it's convenient for him. He kept putting his wife and children at risk. If I were up, I would consider a divorce. My 16, mom, 38 just tried to convince me why my 3-year-old baby sister deserved to get hit. My baby sister didn't want to wash herself after pooping herself, and my mom spanked her naked and scratched her while doing so. My baby sister sum up crying naked with my 11-year-old kid sister saying how I don't like mom. I confused asked it's okay, what happened? I'm her trying to comfort / hug her, and I see her butt red with few scratch marks, and my 11-year sister tells me what happens. I wash up my sister quickly and get her dressed, and go downstairs, and I got in a fight with my mom about her sitting my baby sister, and she tried to justify it. I don't even know what to do. I just screamed at her about how she is teaching a 3-year-old to say I hate mama and is trying to justify it, and she responds with she needs to learn to listen. I picked my baby sister and go to my room. She has stopped crying and is only watching in her tablet at the moment. There is no one that can help. Physical punishment is really normal in my country, that parents feel safe enough to share memes about abusing their children to them. It's fair punishment. I don't even know what to do anymore. Please help me. I myself have been hit as punishment throughout my childhood, and I don't even care anymore. I'm used to it by now, but I don't want my baby sister to go through that too. Thanks for speaking up to your mom. I would say, intercede more. Always politely. If you can, tell your mom that you're happy to take over tasks that irritate or stress her with respect to your toddler sibling, such as cleaning her up, or feeding her when she's being picky. 16-year-old shouldn't have to raise their 3-year-old sibling. Hitting is not good. Which continent are you on? Asia, Middle East. You are an amazing sister. Your compassion will help your sister more than you'll ever know. The fact that you challenged your mother is commendable. Thank you for standing up for what is right. Once your anger has subsided, talk to your mom again, even if she doesn't respond. Tell her what she did was wrong and it can never happen again. Tell her to think of other ways to handle this that are not abusive. At least she'll know you will be watching. Please be there as much as possible for your sister. I think I chose the wrong way to speak to her about it. First she told me to kind my own business and it's her kid and she will choose punishment she sees fit, and in anger I just left my crap on the counter. I was making coffee, and she called me back and tried to compare it to the hitting my sister situation, and I just got more angry on how she could compare the two situation and told her, at least it better not to hit a child, and you say I'm the one that doesn't have compassion for my sisters. She said gay to me long time ago. Is there any other relative you can go to? Can you go to your grandparents' house or an auntie or someone who won't hit you all? No, we aren't allowed to just sleep at their house. My parents won't let us. And neither of them would approve without my mom's approval, and if I told them what happened they would side with her too. I'm definitely sure of, because I've seen them participating in those memes. Guys, stop suggesting op contacts authorities. It's a very normal thing in the Middle East. Sadly, my parents are South Asian and it was normal for my dad to beat us. Completely and utterly wrong, but it's normal and relatives and authorities will side with the parents. The only thing OP can do, unfortunately, is to protect the toddler as much as they can. I know a teenager shouldn't be taking care of a child, but that's literally all they can do. Very sorry, OP. It's heartbreaking, I know, but you stay protecting your sister. My boyfriend comments on my cooking and it pisses me off. I need advice on this. I know it's a low-profile issue. I see the stuff posted on this subreddit, but it makes me so angry and I have tried to put it aside, but I am clearly not good at it. So please give me advice. BF 22 meters, and I, 21F, have been together 6 years as of February. I'm mixed, Latino and black. He is black. I am adopted by 2 white people. My parents are great BTW. But this stems, I guess, the issue. I live in one of the few cities that has a black majority, not minority if it matters. Growing up we were called dad if you want groceries and call mom if you want takeout type family. My mom doesn't cook. She will make chicken noodle soup or a chicken rice casserole on events or if you asked her. She is a salt, pepper, half and half type person. Her dishes taste good, but it's insane the amount of salt used in them. BF knows this. I cook as a hobby. I made most of the family meals growing up, not as parentification or anything. I literally only cooked what I wanted to eat. My dad would buy the supplies and I just made enough for the 6 people in my household as a result. BF doesn't cook at all. Never even learned. He tried cooking once for me once and I walked in on him pouring Prego, jarred marinara, into the boiling pasta water. We ordered takeout that night and he never cooked again. BF and I have lived together 2 years now. He doesn't cook or want to order takeout for the reason it tastes so much better when you cook it. But when I'm cooking he will come in the kitchen and question me, or be like that isn't how my grandma makes it, and it truly pisses me off. Since I was raised by white people he acts like I have no understanding how to season properly. Example, our best friend visited us, different city for college, and he didn't want to eat my fried rice prior, and when I said I was making it he didn't want any, but best friend did. Best friend helped me make it. He all of a sudden wants some, and thinks it's great. He says it's the rice quality. However, I know damn well the rice quality was the same when I made it first, and best friend didn't make the rice I did both times. Best friend is black, and he made comments on how the seasoning was, even though I did all the seasoning. He will come in the kitchen and question me even though he has no idea how I to cook, then get offended when you call him out on the BS. It happened multiple times. I even stopped cooking for a month but was told I am overeating. He thinks cause I was raised by white people I don't know how to season, but then turns around and says cooking tastes better when I do it, and scarfs down multiple plates. What should I do to solve this? I can only echo what is said here. Answer to anyone criticizing cooking is, then you can cook your own meals. Anyone who doesn't know how to cook just needs to practice. It is beyond inappropriate to sit and be negative on a service someone is providing for free. It's a gift each day you make something for him, and he needs to realize this and appreciate it.